I've noticed that there seems to be a new type of movie trope gaining popularity lately that revolves around the fantasies of the middle-aged woman. Otherwise known as the older woman trope, these movies involve an older woman, usually in her mid-30s to 50s, having a relationship with a younger man. Earlier last year, we got The Idea of You, a movie starring Anne Hathaway, 42, as a single mother who falls in love with the young singer of a British boy band played by Nicholas Galitzine? I don't know. Who was then 30 years old. And then not long after that, we also got Babygirl, which was just released for streaming on Max and stars Nicole Kidman, 57, as a mother and businesswoman who gets involved in an erotic affair with a young intern played by Harris Dickinson, 28. This is a theme we've seen a few times in the past in films like The Graduate, Harold and Maude, and How Stella Got Her Groove Back, but for some reason they have really gained traction lately. The main theme of all these movies is an older woman who gets involved with a younger man. But is this so problematic? Shouldn't older women be able to get it as much as younger women? Is this a turning point for the ageism against women in Hollywood? Before I answer these questions for you, hi, I'm Melody, and I talk about movies, music, and more, and their impact on society on my channel. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. And without further ado, let's dig into these movies. So, Babygirl. Nicole Kidman's character, Romy Mathis, is portrayed as being a woman who has it all, a husband who loves her, a successful career, and children that she loves and dotes on. But it is revealed that this is not her true fantasy. Instead, she wants a younger man, or any man really, who will tell her what to do, specifically in the bedroom. She reveals at a company Christmas party that she was named by a guru, as she was raised on communes and in cults, which could explain her desire for being controlled by someone, especially sexually. Romy is also seen receiving various aesthetic treatments and even EMDR therapy, further solidifying her conflicted feelings between her past and present. The film definitely sexualizes Romy, who is seen having sex with her husband in the very first scene in the movie, and in multiple scenes thereafter, and the entire plot of the film revolves around her character not being satisfied sexually. She eventually does find her release in a younger intern and mentee, Samuel, played by Dickinson, who she first sees rescuing someone from a dog attack on the street. This scene is not really there to show how good a man Samuel is, but rather to show how much Romy wants to hear the phrase good girl and be ordered around by a man, as she kind of gets off from this interaction. This whole plot of Romy wanting to be seen as being a good girl is confirmed by the writer slash producer slash director Helena Rain, who said in an interview with IndieWire in regards to the infamous milk scene, quote, that when she was alone in a bar after coming off stage in Belgium, a famous actor at least 15 years younger ordered her a glass of milk. She said it was one of the most arousing moments of her whole life and that she wanted to reward him by drinking the whole thing. Listen, that's cool and all, but girl, why did we need to write a whole movie about your kink? Not that I'm kink shaming or anything, like go off, but it just seems a little weird to me that we are all now subject to this. It is revealed later in the movie that Samuel chose Romy for his mentor on purpose and that he sought her out. So it is more so the age difference and the power imbalance than anything else in the movie that lends to the issues in their relationship. Samuel doesn't really have a motive for being involved with Romy beyond controlling her and threatening her power as the CEO. As part of her job, Romy does state that being a CEO means being a collaborator and a nurturer, which we see extensively with Romy's relationship with her children, so maybe Samuel does pick up on her motherly qualities and is attracted to them. You would think that in this relationship, since Romy is the one with more power socially, that she would be the one in charge in the relationship, but no, because again, we're dealing with Helena Rain's kink here. That is part of the sexual tension between the two. Romy wants to be dominated by someone. Throughout the film, Samuel continues to push Romy's boundaries for the rest of their time together, almost as if he is egging her on in their sub-dom roles. And despite having gotten the sexual release that she needs from Samuel, he and his girlfriend, Esme, Romy's secretary, team up to threaten to reveal Samuel and Romy's affair if she does not change the company to be more egalitarian and to promote Esme, something her character has wanted the whole entire film. Romy doesn't acquiesce to their threats and instead admits the affair to her husband. In the end, Romy and her husband Jacob rekindle their marriage, with them incorporating the quote-unquote lessons that Samuel taught Romy into their bedroom. Now let's look at a movie that did the age gap thing in a better way, in my opinion. The movie The Idea of You revolves around divorced single mom Solène, an art gallery owner who is turning 40 soon. She doesn't really feel comfortable with this change or with dating men her own age. Solène takes her daughter Izzy to a show at Coachella by the British boy band August Moon after her ex-husband Daniel can't make it as planned. There, in the backstage meet and greet, Solène accidentally enters Hayes Campbell's trailer instead of the bathroom. They flirt and Solène admits she is kind of uncomfortable with their 16-year age gap. Hayes eventually sort of stalks Solène and buys all the art in her art gallery, and they get to know each other. He convinces Solène to follow him on tour, but the pair breaks up due to Solène getting embarrassed in front of Hayes' bandmates and friends. They then get back together and end up staying together until the relationship starts to affect Solène's daughter, Izzy, and her social life. They eventually break up for good, but promise to see each other again in 5 years, once Izzy is an adult, and they do just that at the very end of the film, solidifying that they are really in love. So unlike in Babygirl, Anne Hathaway's character in The Idea of You is single, and therefore there is no marital affair to kind of add extra intrigue to the plot. She is also not in direct leadership over Hayes like Rami is to Samuel in Babygirl. Solène does say at one point when Hayes is trying to convince her to go on tour that she could be his mother, to which Hayes replies, "But you're not." So clearly he doesn't see Solène as a mother figure or even as someone that is that much older than himself. While the age gap initially adds some conflict to Solène and Hayes' relationship, especially when it comes to Hayes' bandmates and friends, Hayes and Solène's mommy issues are more practical and literal. Solène is a mom and has to consider her child more than her lover, which adds problems to her relationship with Hayes. But in The Idea of You, Solène and Hayes actually have a relationship where they get to know each other, instead of it just being about sex like in Babygirl. Ultimately, the age gap is much more of a problematic issue in Babygirl than in The Idea of You because of the fact that Rami in Babygirl is in a direct leadership role over her younger man, and this fact makes Rami fear for her career and role in her family. Solène does not worry so much about her career or social status, but more about how the relationship with a celebrity is affecting her daughter's life. So why is this theme of the older woman so problematic in the first place? Well, the cases of Mary Kay Letourneau, Ruby Franke, and more show us the issue of people not seeing women, specifically older white women, as a threat. Age gap relationships portrayed in media more often than not still have the man being the one in power, even when the woman is older, which, while subverting the idea of an age gap relationship, also allows the older woman to not face punishment for her actions. These films with the theme of the older woman, wherein the older woman is receiving no repercussions of any kind, sort of reinforce this idea of the older white woman being harmless and not capable of being manipulative, but instead being the object of manipulation. This declawing of the cougars, in a sense, is almost like media kind of desensitizing people to the idea of older women age gap relationships and saying this is okay and this is something fun to fantasize about, where in real life it definitely does not always turn out that way. While age gap relationships can be fun and interesting and kind of still taboo, as long as it is done in a way that is consensual between both parties and nobody has any kind of power over the other, then of course it's okay. But what these movies are portraying is not that. Both Samuel and Hayes have a certain power over their female counterparts, Samuel sexually and Hayes with money and fame. So why is the age gap relationship with an older woman seen as so provocative and enticing in the first place? What draws people to make these movies and to consume them? In her article for Friday Things, culture writer Sadaf Hassan says, "The temptation around it all is clear. It's hot to fantasize about age gap dynamics, whether it's your classic teacher-student or boss-employee, but it's troubling when we remember that it's the power imbalance that both turns us on and makes it a little icky." This ick factor is clear in the plot of Babygirl, where Rami's whole life depends on the age gap affair remaining a secret, and in The Idea of You, where it ends Hayes' and Solène's relationship because it is affecting Solène's daughter due to her classmates bullying her over her mom, an older woman, dating a younger man. This ickiness, however, is not just a fiction in Hollywood. We have probably all heard about Woody Allen and his stepdaughter's relationship, but this has also happened with an older woman in Hollywood. In 1960, aging film noir star Gloria Graham, then 37, married her stepson Anthony Tony Ray at age 23. Tony was the son of Gloria's second husband, Nicholas Ray, and his first wife. In 1950, according to Nicholas Ray, he allegedly caught Graham and a 13-year-old Tony in bed together, which effectively ended their marriage. However, Graham's former partner and biographer, Peter Turner, disputed this, saying the story of Tony being underage when Graham began a sexual relationship with him was fiction. Regardless, the couple began dating in 1958 when Graham was 35 and Ray was just 21, and eventually married in 1960 in Tijuana. The ensuing tabloid scandal when the news of the marriage broke in 1962 damaged Graham's reputation and affected her career. Her third husband, Cy Howard, fought Graham in court for years for sole custody of their daughter, and the stress over her marriage scandal, custody battle, and her waning career drove Graham into a nervous breakdown. Graham's last years were turned into a movie in 2017 called Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool, but the film does not really touch on Graham's relationship with Anthony Ray, except to say that she was finally happy with a younger man, probably because it was based on the book of the same name written by Peter Turner, who had previously called the more scandalous parts of their relationship fiction. But if they had included Gloria and Tony's relationship, would it have been seen as a positive erotic story like the films we're discussing in this video? Or would it be seen as a negative since it is based on the true life of an older woman who was beginning to be rejected by Hollywood and no longer seen as attractive? My guess is on the latter. So then, are these older women age gap trope movies a good thing for aging women in Hollywood? Can they lift them out of the previous tropes of the mom or the wise older woman? Historically, older women have not been seen as megastars in any sense in Hollywood, where youth is celebrated above all. This idea of youth is perfectly encapsulated in the classic film Sunset Boulevard, which illustrates the mental decline of a former star who is now aging and can't find work. This drive to be seen as young and attractive is further explored in other films like the body horror movie The Substance. In the classic film The Graduate, we see for the first time an older woman who is meant to be attractive and wanted. The movie explores an age gap relationship for a brief moment in time and solidifies the thought that older women can and should be seen as attractive in media. So can it finally be time for older women to shine? Asan again says in her article on the older woman trope that, quote, yeah, it does feel empowering to see an older woman romance a younger man and to see her get to be desired in the way women her own age rarely ever are on screen. It's a joy to see her looked at through the awestruck eyes of a pretty man who is good with his hands and can go a few rounds. It's confirmation that yes, even as we age, we can have it all, and that includes great sex with younger men eager to please. But does it have to be like this? Why do older women, or women at all, have to be so sexualized to be seen as having value in Hollywood? In films like Mamma Mia, Something's Gotta Give, and Laws of Attraction, older women are seen as desirable without the questionable cougar vibes. And definitely the relationships in media should be portrayed as being consensual and without power imbalances or case-catching storylines. Don't get me wrong at all, I am far from a prude. Older women should definitely be allowed to be seen as sexy and attractive, but also as powerful and successful, happy and kind. And may I also add that Babygirl is far from the first time that Nicole Kidman has been cast in a particular role as the older woman. So get your bag, girl. I am not saying that age gap relationships should not or cannot exist between older women and younger men in media or in real life. But maybe we could do all of this in a more responsible and conscientious way. So if you liked this video, please give this video a like and subscribe down below, and check out my video on the weird world of jukebox musicals if you want to see more. Also, comment down below your thoughts on Babygirl and any of these other sort of questionable age gap relationship movies. Where do you stand on the whole topic? I want to know your thoughts. And as always, don't forget to drink some water, take your medicine, and eat something today if you haven't done those 3 things yet. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye! You want a meow? There you go. You get a meow. Meow to everybody. Meow. I'm going purr.